Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the last race of the week. Yes, it is Division 3 round the lovely Hungarian Grand Prix. And yes, it's been a very interesting week. Plenty of action, not plenty of overtakes, unfortunately. This track is very, very difficult and is all about qualifying. The man in the comments box with me is my favourite American friend, Regus, mate. Welcome to the stream, my friend.
Thank you so much, SJ. And yes, I want to welcome everybody to whoever is joining us here on stream. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So yeah, like you mentioned, Hungary has been a mixed bag of sorts. Now we've had some really good races. Division 4 and Division 2 are the first ones that spring to mind. The chaos after the red flag restart in Division 2 was the stuff of legends. It is easily the most entertaining Hungarian action I have ever witnessed. More exciting than anything the real world F1 has provided. But yeah, well, like you mentioned, qualifying here is gonna be crucial. In Division 4 and Division 2, so far, whoever got pole position in this race, or whoever got pole position for qualifying, ended up on to win the race. So, will we see that happen here today, or are we gonna break the cycle here in qualifying?
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. We've got a few quali bands as well here tonight. Obviously, we had FT Kelly to serve one, but obviously he's not here. But Sebi does have a quali ban, which he has just served. So good on him for that. We'll jump on board into the paddock. But yeah, like you said, it has been a very, very interesting week of racing around here. Like you said, it is all about the qualifying. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys have got, and let's go through our grid tonight. But first of all, thanks up to our big sponsors, especially our main sponsor of AI369. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. I hope you love the new intro. I'm just going to move that over there, just make that cover that up, and we're all good to go. Yes, there we go. Be up to it. Yep, as I was saying, our main sponsor AI369. Feel free to get on board and use the comments in the comments that come up with the link. And then also big up to Pagnian SimLab and also Speed Nation, which is a New Zealand only sim store. So if you're a Kiwi, please message me and I will give you a code and you may get a discount on some products. But here we go. We're going to go through the grid. So who we've got tonight? We should have 20. We're just waiting on the other Aston Martin Zoo. So if we get any comments coming in, trying to get an invite, then my man on the left here, Regus, will try and get him in. But we've got Arx in the Aston Martin, who has set the fastest time so far with 1:15.022. We've got Dynasty Sparrow reserving up, replacing Angus in the Merc tonight. Then we've got Squashosh in the Red Bull. We've got Protein Group. Then we've got Hennessy in the Ferrari with Latif in the Kick. Zaif, a new driver. Welcome to Russia. Welcome to the family, mate. Good luck tonight. He's reserving in the Haas, or I think he may be a new driver. We'll have to wait and see what the situation is with Haas, as Mike Donaldi is no longer with us. We wish him all the best in the future. Plugger in the Merc, having a really, really good start to the season. We've also got Sebi, who has just got a quali ban, has retired. We've got Boltsaru, who's been very impressive in the last, obviously in the reserve program, and also in the last race. We've got Oblivion in the Ferrari, Daniel T in the Williams, Shifty Flight in the McLaren. TTV Ryan missed out last week. He's obviously one to watch out for. Was very impressive in pre-season. It's one to wait and see how we go. Dido having a good start to the season as well from last week's win. So we'll have to see if he can do the double again. We've got WNA Saints in the Haas, Arcade Gaming in the Red Bull, Marzi the TP in McLaren in 18th, and then we've got Paddy Pat. Will he have a better result from last week? Not the result that he wanted last week in Monza. So we'll have to wait and see how he goes this week. So not a bad grid so far, Regus.
Indeed, and honestly, I would probably want to keep my eye on Zift here tonight. And this is the topic that we talked about a lot during the preseason. It's that, especially if you don't have a full-time race seat yet, this is basically like your demo reel, your resume, or basically just your portfolio of, hey, this is what I can do. You guys should consider bringing me on, especially if Haas does have an open seat here tonight. Like you mentioned, we have a very stacked grid here in Division 3 for tonight. We know Dynasty, the team principal of Mercedes, is a rapid driver. We've seen lots of pace from Squash Josh with Matisse, and of course, who can forget the battle from last season team Protein Group and Hennessy for the drivers title. Excellent stuff there from those drivers. And I mean, we have Patty Pat as well. I'm always gonna remember him for his very wide line during the Austrian preseason race that still somehow nabbed him a P2 and Q1. I don't know if he'll ever be able to escape that, but regardless, we have a lot of extremely rapid drivers and some very big unknowns. So, so that is going to make this race incredibly interesting, and we've had some really good races here. So I have no doubt in my mind that Division 3 is going to deliver like the other divisions before.
Yes, I'm sure it will. We are seeing some times at the moment, 1:14.565, and obviously it is all about quality. We did say we've had some really, really good viewership. So 73 last night. Let's see if we can beat it tonight. It is the last race of the week before we get on to the reserve program tomorrow, and then kicking off with Division 1 on Saturday at Jeddah, and then obviously back here with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on Sunday at Las Vegas. Which I'm sure will be a great race to watch. But let's go on board Arcade Gaming for a flying lap. I'll take this one away, Regus, and then you can take the next one away. So, coming round the last corner, getting ready to go. Here we go. Arcade Gaming has not had the best of starts after reserving up DNFing, unfortunately. So let's see how he goes in Hungary. His teammate at the moment in P5. So coming into the first corner, does he get onto the curb? No, nicely done there. Get a good exit there. Push over to the left a little bit. Using a little bit of the ERS going into turn number 2. Keep nice and tight to the curb. You want to be riding the curb too much because you do not want to get unbalanced. Get a nice exit coming now up the hill. This is the part where Easy can invalidate. How is he going to take coming across here? Very nicely, very smooth. Purple in the first sector, very nicely so far there by RK. Only around about 28% of the ERS, so he's burnt quite a fair bit of ERS. Still quite a fair bit to go. Very nicely done there. Coming into sector 2. Very, very nicely so far. Riding the curves a little bit too much. Let's have a look here. It's very easy to invalidate. Coming out of here, goes a little bit too wide, a little bit over to the left. Could have lost a little bit of time getting onto the curbs here. And now to the hardest part of the Hungarian track. The nice little hairpin on the left, all the way round the outside, very nicely onto the curb. Pushes over to the left, push over really tight to the right, as tight as he can get. Then onto the acceleration, a little bit of ERS, bit of DRS, and he sets up a 1:15 to a 4:5. So a very impressive lap. Actually jumps his teammate and sandwiched in the middle of a Mercedes. So a good lap there by the Red Bull of Arcade Gaming, Vegas.
Yeah, indeed. That was a very good lap. He did get a little wide on some parts, but for the most part, that was a very smooth lap around one of the hardest tracks to have a smooth lap around. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of easy spots to go ahead and invalidate your lap time. Most notably, the chicane between turns 6 and 7. It is so easy to take a little too much curb and get that invalidation. Especially when you're carrying a lot of momentum through some of these faster corners. It is so easy just to have a loss of grip. Your back end just goes way out. You cross those white lines. You get invalidated, and that is your lap basically over. And you really want to not have that happen in the slightest, especially with Hungary being such a qualifying focus track, similar to that of Monaco.
Yeah, definitely. You've still got Daniel, Shifty Flight, Ryan, and Dido still to set times at the moment. So who we've got coming around? Let's have a look. We've got Withmatif coming round, so he's about to start his out lap. So, Regus, I'll let you take it away with the kick Sauber. Over to you, my friend.
All right, he's going to go ahead and round turn number 14 to go ahead and get a flying lap started. Very good stuff there. He's got 74% ERS as he goes ahead and makes his way down the field. Now he's coming up to turn number 1. Turn number 1 is probably one of the best overtaking spots on the track, riding around it in third gear, going to fourth, then fifth. Excellent stuff there as he has the second ERS zone. Looks like super funny on the front left. He's going to go ahead and make his way through turn number 3, ending sector 1. We'll see where sector 1 time goes. He's a tenth faster, but granted, he is on the medium tire compound, so he can go faster on the soft tires. So don't expect any purples, but if there's a purple, then that means there's a serious pace. Now, that is the chicane where it's very easy to go ahead and lose your time. He goes through it masterfully. invalidated lap as of yet. He's coming through turns number 10 and 14. Oh, he has a pretty healthy slide there coming out of turn number 11. That will definitely have cost him a few tenths. Now he's coming up to turn number 12 and then coming around turn number 13. The very difficult hairpin with a little bit of elevation. Now the entry is somewhat easy on that, but the exit is the tricky part as he fires off into the pit. Not satisfied with that lap time there, Governor.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't happy with that, so we'll jump on board with someone else and give you another shot with someone else. So looks like we've got Hennessy on an out lap, so I'll leave you with him and I'll let you jump on board with him. He's down in P14 at the moment, so he'll definitely want to improve as his teammate is pole at the moment with a 1:14.565. So Regas, I'll let you take it over with the Ferrari of Hennessy in P14.
All right, so the car currently at P14 rounds turn number 14. He's going to go ahead and get the start. That is a lot of curb there on the outside of turn number 14, but it allows him to get the best exit speed going into turn number 1. Now, notably, he did take this corner a gear lower than with Matif did earlier, going in second gear as opposed to third. He's going to go ahead and make his way around turn number 2, going into turn number 3 now. Now, he is on the soft tire compound, so we might expect some purple sectors from him. He is 3 tenths up on his previous time, coming into turn number 5. A very tricky, sweeping, fast right-hand corner. Now he's coming up into the chicane that is basically the leader of times. He handles it masterfully. I mean, he's having a really good lap this time. He's not losing traction like with Matif did earlier, although granted, he is on a grippier tire. Coming through turn number 11, it is a purple sector 2. He is just shy of 7.5 tenths up starting sector 3. He goes through turn 12, very good. Now turn number 13. This is a very make or break corner as much as the final corner on the track. Currently P14, coming through turn 14. Let's see if he can elevate in his position. He does not use hardly any of the curb there, but he's 8 tenths up and he's up into P5. That is an excellent time there for the Ferrari of Hennessy.
Nicely done. In P5 position there, the two Ferraris in P1 and P5. Very good start there. A little bit of feedback from someone NASCAR Racing saying your mic is cutting out when you're talking at the moment. So just giving you a bit of a heads up there, Regas. Your mic is cutting out a little bit, what NASCAR Racing is saying. But we do have Banana Plays coming in instead of Zoo. Unfortunately, it's just not gone to plan for Zoo tonight, which is very unfortunate. But McLaren's doing a good job as well. They're on the pits at the moment, but in P14, and Shifty Flight, who is on a lap now about to start his. What's he going to do? So, hasn't given a time yet. So, let's have a look, see what he's going to do. Going to need to improve here. We've got 3 minutes to go, and it looks like at the moment that Paddy Pat, Shifty Flight, Ryan and Dido are going out of qualifying. Daniel T is retired. He's gone into P2, so he's happy with a 1:14.682. But it looks like Paddy Pat's going to have to go again. It looks like Marzi is going to have to go again, and maybe with at the moment. And also, we've got Shifty Flight on a lap at the moment as well. So let's see if there's going to be any improvement here. And it's been a very, very good week for McLaren last night as well. And Oblivion's called it as well. So he's pretty happy with this one. But what's Shifty Flight going to do? Let's have a look. Coming into the last couple of corners. A little bit low on the ERS. Needs to be getting into those 14s. We've got a few guys in the 15s at the moment. So let's see how we go here. Banana Plays is
noting that he did have a... Oh, go ahead.
Yep, Banana Plays is going to start from the back, unfortunately, and he's actually left the session. That's a great start. And Shifty Flight goes P5, so great job by him. We've got TTV Ryan and Dido. We've also got Paddy Pat and Marzi going out again as well, and with. So this could be a little bit of a shock here with Matif, Marzi, Paddy Pat, TTV Ryan and Dido all could be going out of qualifying. Regas.
Indeed, and I do want to commend Shifty on a very good lap there. He had a purple sector 1, so his rocket up the order isn't super surprising. But yeah, we know that a lot of these drivers are quick. We know Ryan is quick. I mean, we saw it during preseason. He had some really strong performances, especially in Singapore. And we know Dido is a rapid driver. He's raced in several different divisions and had very good results in all of them. And we know Patty Pat does have the pace as well, so it's really just a matter of what happens here in this last few minutes, because we know that qualifying can shift so rapidly in between these different, like within the last 2 minutes. We know this qualifying order can go ahead and be very jumbled up. Now, Ryan was the last driver that does not have a time at the moment, but he did have a purple sector too, I believe. So it's going to be an improvement from him, certainly. And we'll see where he goes. He's up to P11, but he puts his teammate into danger zone at the exact same time. So we know that this grid is likely going to shift quite a bit coming into the final minute of qualifying here, SJ.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Boltsaru coming around again. He's going to have another. He's going to have enough time to get round. He's in that P14 at the moment. Shifty Flight's retired. He's happy with his time. Just trying to see who's coming around at the moment. If we've got anyone around, it looks like it's a Haas. And we've got Zeif coming around. What's Zeif going to do? Is he going to improve or not? He goes P1 with a 113.994. Where did
Oh,
that
hot
come
dang.
from? Where did that come from? That is
Well,
phenomenal.
then.
Wow.
Excellent stuff there from the Haas.
Marzi,
That
what's
is
Marzi going to do?
insane
It
time.
is insane time. Marzi doesn't improve. I think he's going to go again. He's going to get 57% ERS. He's in P18 at the moment. Paddy Pat looks like he's out. He could be out as well. Oh, looks like Paddy Pat and Marzi are out of Q1. We'll have to wait and see there, see if they're going to have another opportunity or not. Paddy Pat's got low on his ERS as well. They've got 19 seconds to go, and it looks like things have changed. We've got Saints as well. He could be out. I'm just still going to wait and see when when those checkered flags come down, and Boltsaru as well. He's actually invalidated. So if they improve, Boltsaru could be out. Let's have a look. He's got 37%. Is he going to get through? No, he is done. Boltsaru is done. He is out at the moment. Will he be out of Q1? We'll have to wait and see. Get your pen and paper ready to mark these drivers down, who we will be having a chat in the comms box, because we've got YNWA Saints. We've actually got Marzi. Marzi's invalidated. Marzi is out of Q1. Very unfortunate there for Marzi in the McLaren. What about Paddy Pat? Paddy Pat is out as well in Q1. And what about Saints? Can Saints get himself out and put Boltsaru in the drop zone? Let's have a look. Here we go. Last corner for YNWA Saints. Is he going to make it? Is he going to get through? Let's have a look. Here we go. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Yes, he does. And he knocks Boltsaru in to the drop zone. And there you go. Dynasty Sparrow just gets through there by a tenth. Phenomenal quality there. Boltsaru and Dynasty Sparrow making it very, very close. So we will be getting Marzi and Paddy Pat and Boltsaru into the comms box. Let's have a look here. So that's very unfortunate. So Marzi and Paddy Pat and Boltsaru. Now Boltsaru's a big one, isn't it? Because obviously last week was a fantastic result last week. And this week he's got himself out in Q1.
Yeah, it's always going to be a bit different, concerning that Monza and Hungary are two completely separate tracks. One track favors speed, the other track favors downforce. One's a lot trickier than the other, so maybe this is just a track that he struggles at. I mean, we've seen drivers do really good at one track and just absolutely fall off at another. So we'll see if he has the race pace to keep it up.
We will indeed. Well, there you go. That is a phenomenal lap there by Zeif doing our 13.994. I don't know where that pace came from. But yeah, everything was perfect. So fantastic by him. We'll have to wait and see how we go moving forward. Pottero's left the session. People are leaving the session. Don't leave the session. So we'll have to wait and
Yeah,
see.
we'll try to get him back in.
Right. Well, we're waiting for these guys to just jump into the comms box. But first of all, we'll just go over that Q1. What a start for the Haas. Both cars in, but what an impressive lap that was there by Zeif.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's what we talked about earlier. It's basically, especially if there's a seat that might need to be filled for the rest of the season, you have a driver like Ziff who just goes ahead and puts out this monstrous time in Q1. The team principal is going to take notice and say, if I have a seat to fill, I might contact this guy because this guy, he's got the pace and qualify. But now, here's the thing. Even though, yes, so far Hungary has a pretty high pole to win rate, you gotta, just because you get pole position does not mean you're going to go ahead and win. So you got to keep that consistency through the other two qualifying sessions first and foremost, and then you got to go ahead and convert that to a race win or at least a solid race result like a podium or like a top five. But still, excellent stuff there from Ziff on his debut, and yeah, excellent stuff. And I cannot wait to see what else this rookie has.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing it as well. Just getting these, hopefully, getting these guys to jump into the comms box. Bolt and Marzi and Pettypat to jump in the comms box, please. See if they can, if they will jump in. They may not. Marzi, obviously, the TP and McLaren not happy with that lap. So yeah, very unfortunate. Feel free to bring your engineer in. We'd like to hear from your engineer or someone. Let's see what. Just typing away here, guys. Just bear with me. I am doing the onboards as well tonight, so I'm trying to do three things at once here. At the moment. So, but first of all, that is a great time from Ziff still, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens in Q2. So, 15 cars through, 2 Mercs, 2 Hasses, 2 Williams, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Kicks, and yeah, a real good job there, and obviously, yeah, the 2 Red Bulls as well. So, a lot of teams through. How do you think Q2 is going to end up, Rickus?
Well, if history is anything to go by, we're going to see a shock exit in Q2. There's going to be a driver that had a absolutely stellar time, like say Daniel or Oblivion, really good time in Q1, but just can't hook it together in Q2, which will unfortunately result in being dropped in the bottom 5 drivers in this current selection for Q2. But anything can happen. We've seen it in multiple races and multiple divisions. So just because, like I mentioned earlier with Ziff, you got to keep that good, consistent lap times up in each of the qualifying sessions to actually get a pole position or a good qualifying result. So you can have a good qualifying result in Q1 and then fall off a cliff in Q2.
Yes, definitely. We do have the 2 guys in of Pennypat and Bolt Saru. But first of all, we'll go over to Bolts. Bolts, mate, last week, obviously a really good week in Monza. Obviously, not the best of starts going into a track, which is all about quality. But it can be good sometimes starting from the back. So, how do you feel about that, Bolt, starting from the back? What's the strategy going to be for Alpine tonight?
Uh, basically, like normal as you always. To be honest, I should have been in Q2, but I invalidated my lap on like the third last corner. I was like 4 5 tenths up, my best time. But yeah, frustrated to be honest.
What went wrong? Give us a bit of an insight to the lap. What went wrong? Did you just hit the corners, hit the curves, not enough ERS left at the end? What was the go?
Uh, I I believe I just ran like a little too wide at the fourth last exit, and when you run over the white line, you invalidated your lap, and that's what I did, and I just just ruined it, just ruined my race and my qualifying.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, you got your team mates tonight, and also your team principal of Protein Group. I don't know if you are signed, sealed, delivered with Alpine yet. We'll have to wait and see in the next well after this race. But Protein Group through at the moment. Do you feel that he's got the time, got the pace to get into Q3?
Yeah, most definitely. With what the team has done, Hungary the last couple of days hasn't been as great as we hoped for. But yeah, we're hoping that me and Protein can hopefully get up in the points and score a lot of points for our team.
Awesome. Rigas, do you have any questions for Box?
I just want to ask, so unfortunately not the qualifying that you would have wanted here in Hungary, but do you feel confident in your race pace that you can make up some ground here, or what's going to be your mindset going into this race?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think my race pace is like I felt more confident in my race pace than my qualifying pace because our our setup, I don't know, doesn't like qualifying as much as it does the race. I felt like slow to sector ones, twos, and threes. I just couldn't get a lap together. But yeah, race pace, I feel very confident that I could get up to like at least top 10, even top 5.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to see if that comes to fruition. I wish you the best of luck and just have fun out there because Hungary is a tricky track, but if you get everything right, then it can be an absolute blast. So, best of luck to you.
Yep, cheers.
Okay, all right. Well, we had Bots in. Now we've got our next driver in, Paddy Pat, mate. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Unfortunately, last week didn't go to plan, but obviously we put that behind us. We move forward. Obviously, Hungary, another track which is very, very difficult. It's all about qualifying, and unfortunately, out of Q1. What happened, my friend, on your lap?
It didn't feel like we got a lot wrong. We were slow through sector 1. I mean, we understood that we were going through a race setup, which is basically, very balanced, not too much rear slide, attacking, qualifying. We knew that with the race that we've seen through the other divisions, that there was a lot of safety cars in other divisions and there was a lot of chaos. And we just wanted to make sure that we have a balanced setup in respect to the rear's not sliding. We lower the risk of the rear end coming round on us through race. So we went for a proper race pace, consistent setup. But we felt like we did have enough speed there within the qualifying to at least get into Q2 and be around that top 10. But it just didn't happen. It didn't feel like I got overly a lot wrong. I mean, if you look at the times there, we just missed out on Q2 by a tenth. I mean, that's absolutely nothing. But I think we lost a lot of it into turn 1 and turn 2. And before that, we couldn't make it up then. And before, the lap's over. Hungary's quite a quick track. And yeah, we're starting at the back. But look, we know we've got the pace in race. We're consistent. We've got a consistent setup. And there's a lot can happen. But it's just a shame that it hasn't gone to plan once again in qualifying.
Yeah, no, Q1 is obviously where it means here, and obviously getting pole position 9 times out of 10 at Hungary, you can normally win the race unless anything happens out in front. Obviously, starting from the back can be the best because we've seen the undercut here is so powerful. So, is that something that Visa Cash App are looking to do tonight?
I think for us, from what we've seen so far in the rest of the other divisions, is basically just not giving too much away, just go as long as we can. Let everything happen in front, what is predicted to happen, and just stay out of trouble. And we can make our way up and make our pit stop, which effectively could be an inevitable safety car at some point in this race. So that's kind of the only way that we can rely on making positions up and trying to get into the points today. So that's kind of the sort of strategy we're going for.
Well, I wish you all the best. I'll pass you over to Rigas if he's got any questions. Rigas, over to you.
I don't have any particular questions for you, Patty Pat, but I just want to go ahead and wish you the best of luck. I'll tell you the same thing that I told Bolt. Just go out there and have fun and just enjoy the race. And yeah, best of luck.
We go hard or we go home.
Exactly. Love the attitude.
Great phrase. Okay, right. We've got one more person in here, which is actually not the driver. It's actually the engineer of McLaren. Panic. Engineering Marzi tonight, I see.
Good evening, SJ. Yes, that's correct, mate.
So, obviously, McLaren driver of Marzi, very, very frustrated not to go through into Q1. Can you give a little bit of an insight of what happened in Q1?
Yeah, mate. Frustrated is an understatement, I believe, at this
Yes.
point.
Good old Zach Brown.
Coming. Yeah, well, with I think it was about 3 minutes, 2 minutes to go. So he went. He was on hards the whole quali, and then went on the softs to put in a nice, decent lap in. Then he was behind Arcs for about 3 corners, 4 corners, I believe. Arcs did not move out the way, impeded him. Obviously on his hot lap, and the time was running out, so he just tried to recharge the battery and go for another lap. And then, yeah, coming to that timer, ticking down, pushed very, very hard, tried to get into that time with obviously not as much ERS that he would have hoped for to start the lap with, and invalidated. Can't exactly tell you which turn it was, but yeah, he invalidated his lap, and that was curtains for him, mate.
So a little bit of investigation there of an impeding.
Oh, definitely the investigation for that one, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that's it's going to be very interesting. It's obviously a hefty penalty moving forward. What's the thought process in the McLaren? Obviously, shifty flight at the moment in P15 on an outlap. He's done for 1:15.682, 10th off Ziff at the moment. Obviously, 6 tenths off P10 at the moment. Pretty confident that shifty flight's going to go through. And what's the plan for McLaren
Oh yeah.
from the back?
I'm hoping for Shifter to be in the top five. I believe he's capable to do that. To be in the top five coming out of this quali. And obviously for Marzi, so we'll just have to see how he goes from the back. Might be good for him to just take it easy and go for the run. Go maybe for the long stint and see what we can do. Coming to the race, he's coming from the back. But everything's doable, mate. It's a long race, safety cars. You never know what's going to happen, so we'll just go for it.
All right, Regus, anything from you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that you're keeping yourself open-minded, because the only certainty that is in Hungary is that I think it's going to be uncertain. There's always going to be. There's potential for chaos. There's potential for rain. There's potential for just basically anything and everything to happen. So I wish you the best of luck with your team. So just the thing is from the back, are you going to try to play a bit of a more conservative strategy with Marzi, or are you thinking maybe just have him go full send and try to make up as many places in the opening stages as possible?
Well, knowing Mars, he's a very, he's a very good driver when it comes to racecraft. So he won't be bulldozing through the grid, but we'll just try and play it safe at the beginning and see how we go coming through first stint. See how many positions we make up. And as you said, you never know what's going to happen in Hungary. It's a long race. You never give up. So one safety car can change the whole dynamic of this race.
Indeed. And also the potential of a red flag if we get to that point. Hopefully we don't, but
Don't jinx it, mate. Don't jinx it.
I've been pretty good about not giving the commentators curse too many times, so I don't think that's going to happen. Let's hope it doesn't. Praying to the EA
Just
server god.
FYI, Shifty Flight's in P1, mate. Thank you.
Close.
There we go.
That's a great
I only give
statement.
out
to close
commentator
on.
blessings, apparently.
All right, boys. Great comps as usual. Have fun. Yeah, we'll see you after the race, fellas.
See ya.
Okay, well, that's all the interviews done and dusted. Really good to see there. Unfortunately, some mixed vibes there between obviously some of the teams. A little bit of investigation there with the impeding. That'll be obviously looked at. Regus will be something to be looked at. Very interesting to see, obviously, the footage when it comes through to the stewards of what they're going to take on that. But at the moment, we've got Shifty Flight, who literally a nice little statement there from the engineer of Panic tonight for McLaren, saying he's got P1 with a 1:14.453, and we've seen the pace of Ziff at the moment on that 15th, but at the moment he could be going out, so we'll have to keep an eye out. We've got 48 seconds to go. With Matifah's now just dropped Shifty Flight down into P2 with a 1:14.413. These times are getting quicker. These guys are getting faster. What's Saint's going to do? He's just about to start his lap on an out lap. We've then also got Hennessy that's about to start his lap. We then got a Williams, it looks like. Is it Williams? Yes, it is. It's Daniel T. He's about to start his. We've got 25 seconds. This is going to be very interesting. There's some big names in that bottom five at the moment, Regus.
Oh yeah, indeed. And I mean, it's like what we talked about earlier, you have to keep that consistency through every stage of qualifying, and this is a good example of it. Ziff was at the very top with a 13.9 in Q1. Now he's at the very bottom of this grid. He is looking like he might get eliminated if he doesn't have a major improvement here on this lap. He is coming around the last corner, so maybe there's going to be a good improvement there from the Haas. Gets a little squirrel on the exit of turn 14. It's good enough for P12, but that's
Wow.
not good enough to get into Q3.
He's out.
That's the Haas eliminated.
He's out. It goes absolutely phenomenal going into Q1 and then does not make it through into Q3 now. Here we go. We've got Oblivion in P4 position. Crosses the line, goes pole position with a 1:13.996. We've got Ryan going into P4. We've then got the other Ferrari of Hennessy. Can he get out of the drop zone? Yes, he goes P2. It's a double Ferrari on the podium, ladies and gentlemen. We've then got Squash Josh coming around the final corner. Can he get himself out of Q2 into Q3? Yes, he can. He puts himself right behind his teammate. Then we've got Plugger, who's been very, very good this season, pushing himself up to P7. Who else is there? We've got Daniel T. He is out of Q2. Protein Group is the next one. Can he do it? Can he cause a storm? No, he thought he was going to go in the pits then. My apologies. And Protein Group coming on the last corner. Is he going to improve? Yes or no? No, he doesn't.
Nope.
So there you go. I'm just going to get these guys in for a quick chat. And, well, that is a big, big, big shock on who we've got going out.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, we saw Ziff and Daniel T closer to the top. I mean, Ziff had the fastest time in Q1, and now he's down in Q2. Exactly what I was talking about. Maybe I did give a commentator's curse after all, but you got to keep it consistent. You can have one good lap in Q1, but that lap does not transfer over to Q2 or Q3. And if you just can't replicate that success you had in the earlier session, then you're going to get knocked down in Q2. And just a quick little recap, the drivers that are eliminated in Q2, we have Saint, Daniel T, Protein Group, Ziff, and Dynasty Sparrow. Some big names out in Q2, but we still have one more qualifying session to go. So, Oblivion and Hennessy, the two Ferraris, getting P1 and P2 in Q2, but can they replicate that success again going into Q3? Because so far, the top time in Q1 was near the bottom of Q2. Are we going to see that same thing in Q3? That remains to be seen.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Ziff can't join, no mic or headset, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, no, some big names going out of that out of Q2. Obviously, going into Q3, we've got Plugger, Hennessy, Squish Josh, Oblivion, Shifty Fly, Arcs, Ryan, Dido, Arcade Gaming, and Withmotiv. Both Ferraris, phenomenal times by them, and also both Red Bulls and both Kick Saubers. So some big, big teams. Going through into Q3, which is really, really good. We will be jumping on board with them very, very soon. But first up, let's go over with Mr. Computer Genius, which is Dynasty Sparrow. Dynasty, mate, obviously coming in tonight, reserving and in place of Angus. Made it through into Q1. Unfortunately, not into Q2. Give us a bit of an insight what happened in that Q2 session.
Story of my life. I had a mistake on my final flying lap, and in sector 2 again, I've binned it, so basically lost the lap, and that was the end of that. So again, knocked out in Q2, but not the end of. As I said, my race pace is better than my quali, so we'll have to wait and see.
So the same place yesterday again?
No, this was about a turn or two before.
Oh, okay.
So same sector, different corner.
Unfortunate. Hopefully you'll learn from that for future seasons from that corner. What about your teammate tonight, Plugger? He's into Q3. What's your thoughts of a pole position here? He's got some serious competition and some surprise competition that we've seen here with some of these times tonight.
Yeah, he's got some pace behind him. The main goal is to try and get him as high as possible on that grid. So whether that's pole or not, yeah, I'm hoping he gets it. But yeah, the goal is to try and get him that win tonight and bring home some big points for Mercedes. So
Yeah, a little bit of pressure always on the last race of the week to gain those points. How is everything feeling in the Mercedes garage at the moment with your overall week of performance of Merc? Obviously, last week, a very, very good start to the opener at Monza. Hungary, a completely different track. Everyone feeling good going into Vegas next week?
Yeah, mostly. We haven't had we've had an alright week. There's been obviously a couple incidents here and there in multiple divs, but as I said, we move on. We go into Vegas next week with our heads still high. And try and just put the practice in and see what we can do. I know a lot of our team is pretty quick. We just want to now try and be more consistent and see what we can do.
Nicely done. Okay. Vegas, I'll pass it over to you if you've got any questions.
All right, Dynasty. Obviously not quite the qualifying you're hoping for, but how do you feel that Plugger is going to go ahead and do in the race? Do you think if he gets pulled, do you think he can storm off and just take victory like we've seen here before in other divisions, or do you think there's going to be a bit of a fight in the front?
If he gets pole, he should be able to run away. As we've seen with obviously multiple other divisions, the guys at the front have created that gap straight away. That's what you want, but we all know as soon as one crashes here, it can cause safety car after safety car. So we'll have to wait and see. But I obviously wish Plug all the best. And see where we can get him at the end of the night.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wish you both the best of luck and have fun on the track tonight.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, before we jump on board with next, we've got Squash Josh, Oblivion, and Shifty Fight are your top three. Squash Josh with 114.476, Oblivion with 114.612, and Shifty Flight with 114.684. We've still got Dido and RK and Withmity still to set times, but we'll jump over to the YNWA Saints. YNWA Saints, mate, welcome to the stream, my friend. Unfortunately, did not make it through to Q2. Q3, and also your teammate. And this is something I do want to talk about. Obviously, teammate absolutely smashes it into Q1, but gets knocked out in Q2. You would never have written that story, would you?
That was a bit weird. I saw his Q1 time was a second faster than his Q2 time. So, yeah, disappointing. I haven't had a lot to do with him. He's reserving in tonight, but I was excited about his pace in Q1 there and hoping he could keep that up. But, pretty annoying to be P11 in Q2 there and get knocked out. But hopefully I can do a bit of an undercut in the race and make up a few spots, and maybe a late safety car might help.
Is that the praying from the guards? Is that what you want? Obviously, being further down does not help. Obviously, this is a track where it's extremely difficult to overtake, and we've said so many times it is all about qualifying in Hungary because it's lack of room to overtake here. Maybe on that sector 1 and going into turn 1 and 2, but apart from that, it's bumper to bumper all the way through. So are we looking at an undercut here for Haas?
I think an undercut has to be on the cars to try to jump up a few spots and then try to hang on the old tyres, or, as I said, maybe get a late safety car. But I'll see how the tyres feel. I'll see if I'm making positions or not. And, I've got a pretty good engineer on tonight who did pretty well in the Div 5 race. So Cross Eyes is on the year tonight. So hopefully he can get me closer to the front like he was.
How do you feel also going, the momentum going into Vegas and also the team? Obviously, it didn't have the best of starts for Haas. Obviously, I think it was the lowest scoring team at the beginning of the season. But this week it really changed things up. Obviously, Cross Eyes was absolutely dominant in Division 5. Faultless, absolutely faultless. So how are you feeling, and how's the Haas team feeling going into Vegas?
Yeah, I think overall we're just building a little bit of momentum. Obviously, this week Cross Eyes was, as you said, pretty much 100% spot on the other night, and I was engineering him, and it was a pleasure to watch. But we're building up. Yuki's been going good in Div 2. Hayday is always around the mark, and a few of the other boys are putting in some good efforts. But it's just, we're getting off to a slow start, but hopefully we can build some momentum and get going a bit quicker than last season.
Nicely done. All right, Regas, I'll pass it over to you.
All right, so talking about momentum there. So how are you guys feeling going into Las Vegas? Las Vegas is a track more similar to Monza, a lot of high speeds, but also because of the cold weather in Las Vegas, around like 30 or 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's colder, so it's a lot less track grip. So how are you guys feeling going into Las Vegas next week?
Yeah, not too bad, to be honest. I haven't practiced it much for a while, so I'll do a bit after this race is over. But I quite like the track. I enjoy it more than I thought I would. And yeah, a few of our guys, I remember actually having a decent race around there in Div 2 a couple of seasons ago, just as a reserve. So I think a few of the guys really like it. A few people don't like it. You can get a bit distracted around there looking at the dome and things like that and getting a bit slippery through those little S's there. But I think overall the team will go well there.
Awesome. Well, best of luck to you, and we'll see you in the race.
Thanks, mate.
All right, well, we'll go over to our last interview before we get on board with the end of Q3. Lucas, known as Protein Group, unfortunately out of Q2, not making it into Q3, but we spoke to your teammate tonight of Bolts as well and said it's looking for the undercut, looking for an opportunity of a safety car. How are you feeling tonight for the Hungary race?
To be honest, it's probably not the start we wanted. I think we timed our final run for bolts in Q1 pretty badly. Same in Q2. So I reckon if I stitched that lap together properly, I probably could have tried to go for Q3, but it is what it is. We've had a really rough weekend so far. I think hardly even pushing 15 points this week, so it's been pretty rough. But yeah, there's some things to come from us that'll come through the next few rounds. So yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Sometimes it's good to start at the back, sometimes it's not. But obviously the undercut can work in people's favours and a little bit of incidents involved at the front as well. So now, wish you all the best. And Regas, I'll let you take it over from here.
All right, I'm also going to ask you the same question I asked Saints earlier. How is Alpine feeling about Las Vegas next week? You guys excited for it? Guys not so excited for it? Give us your thoughts.
It's a bit 50-50. We've got some people that are excited for it, myself included. A few other people aren't too happy, but I think we will. I reckon we'll do pretty well there. Our shorter wheelbase for the car will probably suit Vegas a bit more, like it did in Monza. This track, I'm not sure. We've had pretty rough qualifying, so I reckon Vegas will be it'll be a good one. I personally enjoy it. I got a win that was my final win from last season, so good memories there.
Yeah, I remember races in Vegas at that time and go pretty good in Vegas, so I'm pretty sure Alpine will go ahead and begin their comeback arc starting in Las Vegas. I mean, it's only round 2 of the season currently, so you're seeing quite a few guys go ahead and make up that ground. But yeah, we know you have some serious race pace, and I'm sure you'll be able to make up a few positions because we know how rapid you. I mean, runner-up in the championship last season. So I mean, there's definitely some pace there. So
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, okay. Well, I've just put a prediction in because I couldn't get some prediction out. We've got 30 seconds to get this prediction in, ladies and gentlemen. So, who will get pole? And your names are Plugger, Oblivion, Shifty Flight, With Matif, Energy, Dido, or none of them. So feel free, 30 seconds on the clock. So feel free to put your votes in. Mixed vibes there on some of the interviews. These guys got 52 seconds to go. They're all on outlaps. Oblivion is about to start. So let's see where he is on his times to see if he's going to improve or not. I think that's just about to finish, I think, the prediction. It was very, very quick. And everyone has said 100% Oblivion. So that was what got in. Unfortunately, no one else could get their votes in. But everyone is going for Oblivion. Thank you very much for the subscription with Prime. Dante, really appreciate that, mate. Love the support. Let's have a look. Let's get those viewers up as well, man. 36 viewers tuning in. Appreciate the support, guys. But let's get some more viewers in. We were up to 50 earlier, unless you've all gone to sleep. We are going to get some racing up very, very shortly. We are nearly finishing Q3. There's about 7 seconds left of this Q3, and we're all on board Oblivion, who is in P3 at the moment, who has gone purple in sector 2, I think. That looks like it. And he's coming around the final corner. This guy has got some serious pace. I think we could be looking at 113 here. Let's have a look. Coming around the final corner. Is Oblivion going to be able to knock Whiff and Squash off the top? Yes, he does. A 113.348. Dino goes with 114.169. Arcade Gaming in there with a P3 with a 114.327. TTV Ryan with a P4 there. What about Whiffmeteeth? He's invalidated. He is out. He will stay in his position at the moment. Shifty Flight, what's he going to do? He's in P7. This is going to be hard to beat. We saw what Ziff did in Q1. Can anyone beat that? Doesn't look like no one is going to. We'll have to wait and see here. But here we go. We've got a couple of guys coming around the last corner. We've got Arcs coming around the corner now. He goes into P5. We've got Hennessy. Someone has crashed and lost it, which is looks like Squash Josh has lost it, which is very unfortunate. And that is the end of Q3. Done and dusted. Oblivion with that is a phenomenal lap. Regus, a 113.3, Plugger in P2 with a 113.9, and Dida with a 114.1.
Yeah, so just looking at Ziff's time from Q1, he had a 113.9, so Oblivion was around, give or take, 0.6 faster than the fastest time in Q1, which was previously the fastest time of the entire evening. So Oblivion setting a monstrous lap there. That is definitely the quickest lap I've ever seen around Hungary. And yeah, that is absolutely stunning there from the Ferrari. And I mean, Div 2, Ferrari started on top, and then they went to go ahead and win the race. So pole position is very strong here on this track. Oblivion followed by Plugger, Vito, Arcade Gaming, Ryan, Squash Josh, who had a little bit of an incident there after his lap was invalidated. Then we had Shifty, Whiffmeteeth, and Hennessy. Hennessy was a bit further down than I initially expected. I figured because he finished Q2 right behind his teammate, I figured he'd be a bit closer, but P10, not the greatest starting position around this track, but it could be worse.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So there you go. That's your classifications: Oblivion P1, Plugger P2, and Dido P3. And the thing is, that people need to understand is that it gets quicker, doesn't it, going into the qualifying as well. Q1, you get quicker in Q2, and obviously the track really ramps up in Q3. So he may be absolutely phenomenal at qualifying, but shocking in the race, which can change the whole dynamics very, very quickly. But always a good start to be in P1, especially at this track, Regus.
Oh yeah, I mean, so far, like the conversion rate from pole position to winning here in Hungary is extremely high. So it's very strong, but here's the thing too. Even though Ferrari got a pole position and a win in Division 2, if you look at that same exact scenario in Monza, it was a 1-2 for Ferrari, and then they just bottled it. So you could get pole position, but you have to keep it clean through every single lap of this race if you want to make that pole position convert to a win. So, and we also know turn 1 can be very chaotic, especially if someone just misses their braking point. So, yeah, I mean, it's not even, it couldn't even be his fault as we see those 5 red lights going out. We'll see what happens here in Hungary. And away we go. It's a great start there for Ferrari. Making a good move. Plugger might be trying to move, but nope. No payoff. Turn 1. Plugger's going to go ahead and try to side. He's going to contact Mercedes. Plugger and Oblivion scrapping physically on this track. But so far, it's been a pretty good start there for Oblivion.
Yeah, no, really good. I thought you were underwater there for a second. You sounded your mic sounded like you're underwater. But yeah, no, a really good start there for Oblivion. Plugger in P2 now, and then obviously we're starting to see a little bit of movers and shakers going on there. A little bit of an incident at the back. Squash Josh has dropped all the way at the back. Down into P20, there's been an incident there. I do not know what's happened there. Marzi's had a spin and he's lost it. It's all going off at the back here, and I think it could be looked at by a re-entry. We'll have to wait and see there. But Squash Josh and Marzi not having the best of starts. We're going to go all the way back down a little bit further. We've got moves happening left, right, and centre. I'm trying to keep up at the moment, but Oblivion in P1, Plugger on P2, RK in P3, Dido in P4, Ryan in P5, Hennessy in P6, Shifty Flight having a nice little battle there with Motif going side by side. As you can see here, Shifty Fleet dropping down into P8. It looks like Whiff has got the overtake. Yes, he does. Then we've got Daniel T in P9, and we've got battles going on behind as well. We've got Arcs, we've got Ziff going at it, we've got everyone going at it on lap 2. A very, very aggressive start here by Division 3 in Hungary at the moment. We've got Arcs in P13, Paddy Pat though in P14, just mind his own business at the moment, in good position, in points as well, which is really good to see, but we'll have to wait and see. It's early days at the moment, but he's got Bolter right on his tail. Dynasty there in P16, then we've got PSD Sebi in P17, Banana Ram plays there in P18, Marzi in the 19th, and Josh in 20th. So, yeah, a long way to go for Josh. 26 seconds behind Marzi. So not the best of starts for the Red Bull driver there. But so far, so good. At the top, though, these guys are flying. And the top 4 are all within the DRS, apart from Hennessy. He could be dropped out of the DRS here. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep up with it. At the moment, it's a 105.3 or 109.9. I think it's in the 4.5 temps or in the 9 temps. He's in the DRS, so he's just got in there. But what a start there for a few guys. Shifty Flight on the hards, and Marzi and Squash also on the hards. So a bit of a mixed strategy there, only for 3 drivers. Riggers.
Indeed. And talking about race pace, I mean, I was just mentioning, like, at the tail end of qualifying, how Hennessy was not in an ideal position for starting P10. In only 2.5 laps at this rate now, but he's up into P5. So Ferrari definitely got a good stranglehold on this track. I mean, they had some excellent performances in Division 2, and now they're having a really solid performance here in Division number 3. So a bit of a mixed strategy from these drivers, like you mentioned. But a safety car can go ahead and throw that strategy book straight out the window. As we were talking with a few of the other drivers and team principals and engineers earlier, a safety car can absolutely change the whole dynamic of this race, regardless of what strategy you're on.
Yeah, definitely. We've just seen the 2 kickstarters there to make a bit of a change. With Motif up in the P6, definitely got the pace. Looks like on Ryan at the moment, so he's jumped out in front. He's in with the DRS as well, so that'll help him. But he's got to be careful because he's losing the DRS there. Only a 10th, nearly only a 10th, losing off the DRS there. We've got Dido there in P4 doing a great job. His teammate there in P10 at the moment. Going a little bit further down. Dynasty up into P15 now. Ark's down into P16. Ark's going to attack Dynasty on the right hand side. Does he go for the move? Let's have a look. We've got move going on here, but Arch changes his position, completely misses the corner there and has to go off track. So that could have been curtains for Arcs and Dynasty. He could have nearly gone straight into him. So yeah, very unlucky there. We've got Boltaroo still on the back of Paddy Pat, putting pressure on, but Paddy Pat putting the pressure on Saints. Saints then putting the pressure on Protein. Protein putting the pressure on Daniel. But so far so good. Everyone is basically all within sync. A few cars out of the DRS at the moment, as we're seeing Hennessy completely now being dropped out of the DRS. 2.2 second gap between Hennessy and Dido. That's a big gap already on that 4, Vegas.
Oh yeah, and I mean, especially with DRS being so strong on this track because of these cars running higher downforce configurations, so there's just more aerodynamic pressure kind of putting this car on the ground as the ground effect 4 kind of vacuums it to the track. So the DRS is really strong here on this track, despite there being only 2 DRS zones, both within Sector 1. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good start here for quite a few of these drivers. Hennessy did move up a few positions. He actually dropped one position to with Matisse there into Kick Sauber. Now he's pretty much stuck in a kick sandwich at this point, with Ryan definitely going to try to put some pressure onto the Ferrari ahead of him, the Division 4 champion from last season, under a little bit of pressure now. But Zip has actually been making some really good progress too. He's also up 5 positions. He was thinking about taking another one off of Shifty. He gets really close there to the gearbox of that McLaren. I mean, so far it's been a really good race here for quite a few of these drivers. Quite a few of these drivers making up several positions, although granted,
Ryan's gone off.
and Mark, ooh.
Ryan goes off. That brings Ziff through. That also brings Shifty Flight through. So one of the kick sailors not going to plan, and he's just got a 3 seconds as well. So that's going to hurt. That then brings Daniel T back into a protein group as well. Paddy Pat now was out of the DRS. He's now back in with the DRS, 7.5 tenths behind protein group. But have you noticed he has underfueled though? So he's obviously thinking about that safety car issue there. Is Ryan is into the pits, not happy on those mediums, or could have some damage. So that brings Paddy Pat up into P11, Protein into P10, Daniel into P9, and positions again, and Dynasty up into P13. So also Marzi now into P16, making the move on Bernardo Ram, gets up into P15 in the points. Josh, though, is still way back at the moment, but anything can happen. Anything can happen in this race and can change the whole dynamics very early on. We've got Oblivion still in that P1 position, not being left alone, though, by Plugger. Ziff and Shifty Flight going at it. But so far so good. Great race so far, but with Matif needs to get in with that DRS. He's going to have Hennessy on his tail again. But yeah, that 2.2 second gap is hurting Whiff's race. And obviously the rest of the other guys will catch up. Ziff losing the DRS as well on Hennessy. We'll have to see if he gets that back. But you do not want to be losing the DRS. We're going to go a little bit further back down here. Paddy Pat putting the pressure on the Alpine of Protein Group now, and these two came together in Monza, and unfortunately Protein Group got the penalty. So yeah, Paddy Pat will have to be very, very careful to see what happens there. Had a little bit of a wobble, but we'll have to wait and see if he's going to make a move, burn a little bit of ERS. Let's have a look. He's got Bolt right behind him, and it's Alpine versus Alpine at the moment. Let's have a look. Are we going to see a move go here? So Protein Group does go past the Williams driver. Boltaroo is going to go and send it around the outside of Paddy Pat. Bit of grip. Who's going to get the move done? They're going to go side by side. Boltaroo and Paddy Pat. Paddy Pat's got the better line there. He will get the move. Ooh, he's going to hold it there. And TTV Ryan is out of this race. He's retired. He's retired very early on. Very unfortunate there for TTV Ryan. And a kick Sauber is out of this race, and we're down to 19. Regas on lap 7 out of 35.
Yeah, it's an interesting case of why Ryan actually went ahead and retired. I mean, he didn't have damage when he did that last pit stop. Arcs came in at the same time. He actually had damage in the Aston Martin. We know Ryan is quick. We've seen it at Singapore, and Singapore is not an easy track to overtake on either. So we know that Ryan does have the pace, so we'll definitely have to try to figure out why he ended up retiring. But yeah, very solid race here from a lot of these drivers. But here's the thing, though, with coming back to the earlier discussion with Hennessy and with Matisse, we know Hennessy is not afraid to make a send if he sees an opportunity. He won't do it recklessly. He's calculated. But if he sees an opportunity, man does not miss. He is the ultimate opportunist here in Division 3. We saw a lot in Division 4 as well. And I mean, yeah, right now, you have to be within DRS range to make any kind of move on this track. It's just so hard to overtake here. If you get really gutsy, you might be able to overtake in the chicane around turns 6 and 7. We did see that a few times, I believe, but well, there goes his race. That's a 3-second penalty for track limits.
Ziff's going around the outside.
Ziff is going to get really dicey.
Oh, that was spicy. That was a very audacious move there, going around the outside of him, going into that lovely double chicane there, which is not a move that you really want to make. So balls of steel there from Ziff and the Haas. He's definitely trying to improve, or definitely trying to prove himself in that Haas seat as a reserve as well. First ever race in Rush, and he's going up against the defending champion in Division 4 as well, who's now been promoted to Division 3. So good on him. But yeah, and that's obviously put Hennessy under a little bit of pressure as well, and got that penalty. Arcade Gaming in the pits on lap 7. Very early, isn't it? for some of these guys to come into the pits already. That means Whiff will go up into P4, 2 seconds behind Dido. Dido out of the DRS, way out the DRS now of Plugger at the moment, and it is just Plugger and Oblivion at the moment. It's just them two on their own, and well, this could be a very interesting race for the Merc and the Ferrari driver here. A little bit further down, we've got Protein Group into P8, still battling Paddy Pat. Paddy Pat looking for the move. He's still got the 2 Alpines, one in behind and one in front. He's in an Alpine sandwich at the moment. He's got a little bit of leeway behind because he's actually got his teammate behind and Sebi behind Boltaroo. So it's a nice little RB Visa Cash App and Alpine battle here, which is nice to see. But we'll have to wait and see there. Gaming to finish P4. Gaming to finish
Yeah,
P4.
so, I mean, it's a really good battle here between the Alpines and the V-Carbs. Very solid stuff. Very clean, too. It looked like that Boltaroo was thinking about maybe an overtake in the first chicane out of that double chicane. But going back to Ziff, I mean, kid's very, very impressive right now. So, I mean, if this kid hasn't impressed Haas, then certainly there's going to be other team principals that are impressed with just the audacity that this Haas right now. He's going to go ahead and he's got the DRS. He'll make a move onto Whiffmateeth now. And it looks like Shifty's also sensing blood in the water. Oh, they're going too wide around turn 1. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a drag race coming up to turn number 2 here. It looks like there might have been a little bit of contact there between 50 and Whiffmateeth. 50 their machine, which is good, but it's very dicey. Up 10 places. 10 places. Track that is insanely difficult to overtake on. We just have to let that sink in because this kid's impressive.
Yeah,
he's going to be the one to keep an eye on, especially for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. Also, Shifty Fighter just needs to be careful. He's on the hard compound tyres against mediums. You know, he can go an extra stop. He can go an extra 5-6 laps. You know, so just take his time. He will get the opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see what the undercut's looking at. We're going to go back onto tyres. We've got 9 laps on those mediums, those front 5 at the moment. We have seen a few people make a pit stop. We've got Paddy Pat still behind Protein Group, still within this little train going on here. Still good points though, P8 and P10 at the moment for the Visa Cash Apps. And is that Protein Group coming into the pits? Yes, it is. So Paddy Pat continuing to go into P7. It could come under extreme pressure now from Boltaroo with the DRS. Nope, he's a little bit too far back. So Paddy Pat up in a P7. Doing a great job. He is 7 seconds though behind Shifty Flight. So, has a bit of a snap there coming out of turn 1. We are going to see some pit stops, but here we go. Plugger and Oblivion getting very close now. Plugger getting very close to Oblivion. Does not want to be making the wrong mistake. Daniel T, though, bringing out the fastest lap with a 1:17.1 on those hard compound tyres. So far, so good. Clean, but we are starting to see big gaps form. And Dido is actually caught up to Plugger and Oblivion, 1.2 seconds just behind him now, getting very close in the DRS, and it looks like he's starting to get momentum in that Williams, Regas.
Oh yeah, and I mean right now, there's been a really solid battle here between Oblivion and Plugger for P1 and P2, but Dido can be that chemical X there that just kind of disrupts the entire formula of that battle currently for the lead. So, especially if he keeps the pace up, he's gained quite a few tenths just in this lap alone. He will have DRS coming into turn 1, and this is a very important one, but Oblivion decides, there's another car in this fight. I'm just going to go and take my pit stop now. We know the undercut is insanely strong here in Hungary, so maybe this is the Ferrari strategy call becoming a Ferrari masterclass here. We've seen him have masterclasses all through the divisions here at Hungary, and this one looks like it might be another one. But we'll just have to see if Oblivion can go ahead and keep that pace up on those hard compound tires. Also, something else we have to think about is, will we be seeing a safety car come in this race? Because if there's a safety car coming in, that just throws the whole undercut out the window, as we have seen before. So, very interesting to see how the rest of this race here goes. Looks like Oblivion actually did go a little sideways on the exit there of that corner. I believe that was turn number 4. So He's got to keep it within the white line so he doesn't get a 3-second penalty like his teammate.
Well, I've just put the prediction in. Will we see a safety car, ladies and gentlemen? So feel free to get your votes in. But so far, so good. We've had some serious battles going on at the moment, as we do have Oblivion in the pits. Now, look at Dido and Plugger. They've decided to come in. Shifty Fly leads the way on those hard compound tyres, but the best one that we want to be looking at is Oblivion. So he's now coming round turn number last corner, now coming down the main straight, and I think he is going to get the job done, and he's going to get in front of them. Just look at that, just in front of them. So that has worked for Oblivion going early. That puts Plugger and Dido actually behind Arcade Gaming as well. So at the moment, Oblivion is the leading car in P1, but Ziff in P1 at the moment with Shifty Flight and the two McLarens. And the two McLarens in a great position here after what happened at the beginning with Marzi. He's now up into P3, still has to pit, but anything can happen. The question is, if the safety car comes out now, it's going to destroy their strategy unless they've got another set of hards or to go on to a set of mediums to go back onto the hards as Shifty Flight goes for a move around the outside of Ziff. Does he get it though? Does he get the move? Yes, he does, up into P1. Ziff into P2. Now, does Ziff come in? Does he come in? Yes, he does. And Shifty Flight takes the lead of this race. Oblivion is now 11 seconds behind Shifty Flight. So this race is going to get very juicier by the minute because Plugger and Dido have lost out massively now to Oblivion, who is literally 3-4 seconds as Sebi now comes into the pits. Boltsaru gets a 10-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. That is definitely very unfortunate there. But things are starting to happen. Moves are starting to happen here. And very interesting to see what's going to happen moving forward as Paddy Pat, does he get the job done on Boltsaru? Yes, he does. So he gets that position back, but he loses out to Protein Group, which he's been battling with the start of this race. So a lot of these guys making a pit stop too late and losing out positions, and Boltsaru has left the session. So if we can get him back in, that would be great, Regis.
Yep, working on it. It would just depend if he accepted my friend request or not. He did. All right, he's got an invite. So he should be getting back in hopefully quickly. We know EA servers do like to they like to be bipolar sometimes and be a little temperamental, as technology does. But I just want to go back to that beautiful overtake from Shifty there. He made an overtake at it looked like a turn 12. And turn 12 is a corner you almost never see an overtake on. If you see an overtake on this track, it's turn 1 and turn 2. Occasionally, if somebody gets really gutsy, you'll see it through 6 and 7. But turn 12 is not an easy corner to overtake on. But Shifty went ahead and decided that, well, that's not going to stop me. And he just sent it, and he got it. So, very good stuff there. But yeah, Oblivion, he's just making time. He's getting close to the Shifty, who is still yet to pit. The McLarens, currently the only cars who have yet to pit here in this Hungarian Grand Prix. So, and Arcade Gaming actually got the 3-second penalty. That's going to put a damper on his podium efforts here. But here's the question now. Where do you think Marzi and Shifty are going to fall once they go ahead and pit? Because they're definitely going on a long stint here. I believe both of them are on the hard tires. I believe they're the only ones to start on the hard tires. That is correct. Josh now getting a penalty himself, so now both Red are having penalties, which is very unfortunate there for the Milton Keynes based squad. But yeah, I mean, this race is going to get interesting. The most interesting thing about this race, aside from the extremely gutsy overtakes like we've seen from Ziff, we've seen from Shifty, and we've seen from quite a few other drivers up and down the grid here. But yeah, strategy is definitely a huge player when it comes to just the outcomes of this race. Speaking of Ziff, he's got the fastest time of the race.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting here. It's Plugger and RK are really going at it. Plugger on fresher tyres, but RK is not going to let this go. But he goes around on the outside, gets the better grip there, and he is on the better grip tyres. Now he's going to be putting the pressure on Marzi. Now, how long can Marzi hold Plugger up? That's going to be the question, because at the moment, Oblivion is flying. He's 6.7 seconds behind Shifty Flight. A couple of laps ago, that was around about 10 seconds. The question is what do the McLarens do? They're both on the same strategy at the moment on those 15-lap hard compound tyres. We're on lap 16 out of 35, and these two still have to stop. How far do they go? Do they go to around about 20? Do they then push on to the mediums to the end? This is going to be very interesting to see what happens. And we are starting to see spaces, which then means if we then start to see spaces, then we won't be seeing safety cars. So it's a very interesting strategy here at the moment. But he's doing well. He's in control, and he's in P1 at the moment. Oblivion now 5.1 seconds behind. Marzi probably will not be able to hold Plugger up here now, because he's right behind with the DRS, with the ERS, and look at the train that is coming behind Marzi as Plugger gets very close to Marzi on that overtake. And there we go. Marzi can't do anything about it. All he can do is hold his line and do as much as he can to try and hold that position and do as best as he can and keep battling. Because remember, that is the only place that you are going to see an overtake. As Whiff goes round the outside, does he get onto the curb? Ooh, very close there between the McLaren and the Kick Sauber. But look at the cars behind Marzi at the moment. He's got Whiff, he's got Dido, he's got Ziff, he's got Hennessy, and then also Dynasty is in the mix as well, not far away. But at the moment, it is not looking good for the McLaren driver of Marzi, because all the guys behind him are on fresher tyres, and they're getting to get very impatient. And this is where it comes down to it, Regis. Patience is a virtue. How patient can these guys be? Are they going to try something amazing, or are they just going to be patient and wait for the DRS? We'll have to wait and see. Lap 17 out of 35, as we're seeing Whiff go around the outside there. Does he get the move done? Nope, but he's going to be getting ready for the move now. How long is it going to be before we see the McLarens come into the pits and get off those tyres and get onto some lovely medium compound tyres? Or will we see a safety car? We'll have to wait and see. Coming up on to lap 18 out of 35, and Arx just gets a pen. Back to you, Regis.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it's very nonsensical to try to make an overtake attempt outside of turns 1 and 2, just because, I mean, those are the best overtaking opportunities on the track. As we see, Marzi just got sandwiched! Collision there with Hennessy after colliding a bit with, I believe that was Ziff, and I think that was a Sauber. So Marzi just getting caught there, just sandwiched, nowhere to go. And there's a VSC, not quite a full safety car, but it is a VSC. So, hey, maybe now is a perfect time for those McLarens to pit in, because now they got that kind of advantage. So, the gamble on going the distance on these tires that honestly are basically in hospice now at this point, it paid off.
Yeah, it's been noted. That brings a VSC. Obviously, lap 18 incident there involving Marzi and Hennessy. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's pushed himself all the way down to P11. After all he was doing was just minding his own business, and those tyres looked like they could have gone, and he could have beat some serious damage. What does Shifty Flight do here? Lap 70, he's on lap 18. No, he's going again. He is going again. Does anyone come into the pits? Will we see Marzi come into the pits in that P11 position? Let's have a look. Just keep an eye out on at the moment. Drive through for Hennessy. Now, you could say that is karma for the incident with the McLaren, but that is definitely not going to help Hennessy at all, and he will have to serve that drive through. So, people were saying earlier on, Ferraris are cooking. They're not at the moment. One is, the other's not. And Marzi has called it. He's retired. He has called it. That's really unfortunate for Marzi. He is done and dusted. I didn't think he would. I thought he might have continued. Really unfortunate for Marzi. And obviously that will be looked at by the stewards. So we're now down to 18 cars. I'm going to go jump on board this nice little battle here between YNWA Saints and Paddy Pat for the P12 position. 3.6 seconds between Paddy Pat and Protein Group at the moment. And lost a little bit of pace. We'll have to wait and see there. But anything can happen. We've seen one incident with a VSC. But seriously, very difficult to get safety cars here, isn't it, Regis?
Don't tell that to Division 2, because we had a few of them in Division 2 when we raced there earlier on in the week. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't really think Hennessy was really on fault there. I mean, he did just kind of get stuck. I mean, sorry, not Hennessy. Marzi got kind of sandwiched in between two separate cars, and then that's kind of spun Marzi wide, and then just Hennessy really didn't have many places to go without potentially colliding with another car. So I don't, unless Hennessy was the reason those cars kind of got sandwiched together, I don't see him getting a penalty for that. But I mean, speeding through the VSC, that drive through, that's really gonna hurt his race there. But yeah, unfortunate stuff there. Hennessy is now gonna serve that drive through, but I mean, yeah, I think Shifty should have pitted in during that VSC. He probably ultimately would have still lost track position to Oblivion, but I mean, he had like a 4-second gap during the VSC, and now in about a lap and a half, he is down to 0.2 of a second. So I think he's just gone a bit too long on those tires. But the question is, now here's a thought that I thought about earlier on. I was thinking about it maybe could work out for Marzi, but Marzi's not racing anymore, so can't exactly work for him. But Shifty, although he just lost a position, so he's likely going to come on into the pits now, maybe.
Nope.
No, surprisingly, he stays out. So maybe the strategy here is get to like a very late lap and then try to go ahead and risk it on the soft tire compound if he's got any fresh ones left. I don't think he does, but that's a hard maybe. And I mean, Shifty right now is keeping a coach, keeping it within DRS range, but 9-lap old hards versus 20-lap old hards, and that's hardly a fair contest, honestly, between those two very different, or two tires at very different stages of their life cycle.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few mistakes being made, and obviously there's a lot of other cars on fresher tyres at the moment. Shifty Flight has done 20 laps on those hards. We're on lap 21 out of 35. He's got 6.4 second gap to Plugger. If anything happens now, Shifty Flight is in a very, very good position. Shifty needs to get onto lap 4 for 11 laps Sting on the mediums. Yes, but how much time is he going to lose? That's going to be the question. It's all right going a longer stint on those hards, but the thing is he for instance, he jumps in now into the pits. He is going to fall all the way down to P10. And then he's going to have to get through the traffic on those medium compound tyres. And we know how difficult it is to pit. So he may finish P10 for the remainder of the race unless anything happens. So it's a gamble, isn't it, to go longer on those hard compound tyres. But these guys are obviously going to take these tyres to the end. So that's the strategy that they've gone. These guys have decided to take these strategies from the beginning and get onto the faster tyre at the end. But yeah, interesting strategy to see, but we'll have to wait and see. It could work, it may not. We'll have to wait and see. Dido down there in P6 having a nice little battle there with Arcade with that 3-second time penalty. Ziff now up into P4, having a phenomenal race, this guy in the Haas. 10 places, and Shifty Flight up 6 as well, and doing a phenomenal race at the moment. So when driver of the day comes around, it's going to be an interesting situation on the vote here, but he is flying. Look at that purple sector, absolutely flying. Same thing happened to me, and Monza was high up before pits. Stock on having to go long, it doesn't work. Can work in some areas. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to go a little bit further down though. We've got a nice little battle going on here between Protein and the Williams driver of Daniel T, P9 and P10. Paddy Pat having a nice little battle there with YNWA Saints from P11. Boltzaroo P13 with that pin. I think that's a big 10, isn't it? Yes, it is. Then you've got Sebi behind there with 3.2. Banana plays there with P15, and it's just not gone a night for these three, Squash Josh, Arcs and Hennessy, which are big drivers, which you'd normally see up the front, Regis, but it's just not going to plan for them tonight.
Oh yeah, I mean that drive-through penalty did not do Hennessy any kind of favors, and also that contact with Marzi there during that incident on lap 18. So I mean, overall, just calamity for one half of the Ferrari garage. The other half of the Ferrari garage is currently celebrating because they have a massive gap, probably about 6 seconds to their next like actual challenger being Plugger. Plugger is 3.5 seconds or 3.6 seconds behind Shifty, and Shifty is about 3 seconds behind Oblivion. So right now, I mean, as long as Oblivion just keeps it out of the walls and doesn't get a penalty himself, and also if we don't get a safety car of any kind, then I mean, right now Oblivion is in a really, really good spot to go ahead and take a pole to win conversion. But when driver of the day comes around, I do think that Ziff at minimum needs to be in the conversation, because debuting kind of last minute as a reserve driver for Haas, and it's a podium. And we know Haas has had kind of an up and down season so far between rounds 1 and 2, but this will be an excellent result there for the Haas team. That's going to really be a massive morale boost coming into Vegas. They're already mostly excited for Vegas anyway. So, I mean, right now, there's a lot of teams that are going to have a lot of good motivation going into next week. The ones I can think of off the top of my head immediately are Ferrari and Haas. But, yeah, I mean, up and down the grid, it's just been a very interesting race. But so in chat, we are actually seeing Dante actually said Shifty would have to get to lap 24 for an 11 lap stint on the mediums. Now, if you're in that situation, Governor, would you go for that? Would you go for that 11 lap stint, or maybe push it just a tad longer and maybe see if you can do some miracles on the soft tires if he has any left?
Nah, keep away from the softs. He's actually he's losing time, but he can't do anything. He has to go long. He has to go to around about 25, 26, and hope, pray, the Lord, the gods. He's now coming in now for those mids, and hopefully a safety car comes out and it changes everything up. Because I don't know how far this is going to drop him back, and this is going to be, really unfortunate for the McLaren drivers. It's not gone to plan, unfortunately. Marzi out of this race, and Shifty Fight obviously dropping all the way down. So, how quick is he going to be on those mediums? That's going to be the question. He's got a big gap now. Dynasty coming down the main straight. Shifty Fight about to come up to the pits. Is he going to get ahead of Dynasty? I don't think he is. It's going to be tight. He doesn't want to lose any more positions as he's got Protein Group and Daniel T coming down. So Dynasty as well could be another one up for the nominations of Driver of the Day as well. Reserving up, coming from last near enough in qualifying and in the race, in P7 at the moment in good points, just keeping his race clean. You know, no penalties, 8.8 seconds behind, so he's a bit of a distance behind, but still good points for Merck sitting in P7 and P3, so he's got to be happy with that. Okay, with that penalty, but Shifty Fight is going to be flying on those mediums. How quick is he going to be? That's going to be the question. Is he going to be able to get to the top in 10 laps? And he's got 24 seconds to gain in 10 laps. Can he do it? That's going to be the question. Anything can happen. We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, we're going to go further back up to the top because Ziff has actually overtaken Plugger, and Ziff is now going to be pushing on for Oblivion, who is on 2 lap fresher than Oblivion and is 6.3 seconds and has got 10 laps to do it. This could be a good finale finish here. If Ziff has got the pace, then this could be a very interesting end to the race. But Dido doing a great job. Still got Whiff behind him at the moment. Arcade Gaming with that penalty. Shifty Fight is already behind Dynasty, so those mediums definitely coming into action already. Daniel T and Protein Group going at it as well. Daniel T going a little bit off track there, and Protein Group holding it. Paddy Pat, though, still in P12, lost out to Bolt Saru, so who does have that penalty, though, so it's not going to bother him too much. But he's actually bringing Paddy Pat into the mix with the battle between Boltsaru Protein and Daniel T. So this could be a good points finish for Paddy Pat if he can stay with Boltsaru.
Definitely. I mean, he's got the pace, and I mean, he's got also like the racecraft to kind of keep it clean. I mean, we've seen a few dicey moments earlier on in this race with Paddy Pat, but I mean, so far he's kept his nose clean. No damage really on any of these cars at the moment. But the question that's going to be on my mind is, if Boltaru has the quicker pace, will we see a team order for a driver swap between Protein and Boltaru, the two Alpines? Just seeing on who's going to be having that quicker pace to try to get P9 off of Daniel T. So that is something to kind of think about. But if these two teammates kind of collide with each other, then Paddy Pat is going to be right there in a prime position to go ahead and just make an overtake stick. Oh, he locks up the brakes, almost runs into the back there, one of the Alpines, and sure enough, there was a position switch, but the Alpine's got the inside line going into turn number 2, doesn't quite get it, maybe? Question mark? No, not quite. Daniel T has track position. He puts the car exactly where it needs to make a very solid, a very clean defense. But we've seen some pretty risky overtakes in other parts of this track. I mean, Sector 2 is a part of the track that you really just want to hold your own and just wait till Sector 3 when you can get on that start-finish DRS straight. But we've seen some overtakes over here. I mean, Difty had that very good overtake on Ziff going into turn 12, which is a very risky spot to overtake, but he made it stick. So maybe we'll see something similar to that from the Alpines here currently at the moment. I mean, right now, if I were the Alpines, I would just try to work together and just put Daniel T under as much pressure as humanly possible. Because eventually, if too much pressure is piled on and Daniel T makes the slightest of slip up,
sorry, we had
then
yellows.
that's curtains.
We had yellows. Hennessy making a mistake there in sector 1, turn 3. Not having the best of starts there. Sorry to interrupt. Boltaru and Daniel T going side by side again. Let's bring them in. Thing is, he has the 10 seconds. That's going to be the problem. He can't get it removed. It's in the pit lane unless he serves it. So, yeah, it's going to hurt him. So, Petty Pat will get P11. Protein will get P10. And obviously Daniel will get P9 as it stands at the moment. Hennessy just got blue flags. Nothing serious. Oh, there we go. So, a little bit of insight from the Ferrari garage there. But it's been a very interesting race, hasn't it? Like there's been gaps forming, then there's been big gaps, and then they've been brought back together again. So the question is, are we going to see anything happen? A safety car is still able at the moment. 29 laps out of 35, so it can still happen. Shifty Flight is starting to make his way up through the pack. He isn't P7 at the moment. He's 5.9 seconds behind RK Gaming with that 3 seconds. So the best he could probably finish could be P6, but we'll have to wait and see. And if anything does happen, he goes onto the softs or goes onto his fresh mediums, he stays out, and these guys pit, then Shifty Fight takes the pole position off this race. But at the moment, can't see that happening because there's just the gaps just aren't there at the moment, Riggers.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it's going to be tough. I mean, now, it is possible for Shifty to go and make up those positions, but considering the caliber of drivers just ahead of him, I mean, we got RK Gaming, although RK does have a penalty. He could get P6, like you mentioned.
Oh, we got yellows again.
There's a flag.
Hennessy's gone off track, letting everyone through. He's got blue flags, so that's all good. No drama there. No drama at all. We're back up to 50 viewers. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you've enjoyed the last race of the week. Remember, we've got more action happening tomorrow night with the reserve program. So get in the mix of it. Hopefully someone else will be jumping in the comms and doing the reserve program tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But then we've got Division 1 on Saturday with Jeddah. And then obviously on Sunday, starting off with Division 4 first, we'll have Vegas. And then straight after Division 4, we'll then go off to Division 2 with Vegas as well. So, yeah, getting very, very interesting. Hennessy's out. Hennessy's retired in the pits. Oh, I thought it was on track. That would have spiced things up massively. But no, he is retired. So not gone to plan tonight for Hennessy, Mazit or Ryan. But at the moment, Shifty Flight gaining on RK. That P6 is looking pretty comfortable now. Question is he going to be able to catch Whiff? Don't know. It's a tough ask, isn't it? 5 laps to go.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, you got 5 laps to go. I mean, and especially on a track where, I mean, he's got the tire life, and he's also got the quicker tires, so, I mean, it's possible, but, I mean, here's the thing. To get up to the point where he's got to pass with Batiste, he's got to actually physically get past RK Gaming. He'll be passed, like, at the end of the timing table with the penalty that RK has, but he's got to get past with Batiste on track unless with Batiste actually gets a penalty of some sort. So, I mean, it's going to be a tall order because, I mean, well, granted, due to penalties, he is up a spot. On track, he is not. So, I mean, it's possible, but not very likely unless an incident happens with a safety car. And, yeah, so just, once again, not, I mean, it's mixed for a few of these teams. I mean, McLaren's having some mixed fortunes. Marzi, obviously, getting involved with that incident and then retiring. Hennessy and, well, Ferrari in general has one driver into lead
Bolt's
pretty
gone off.
comfortably as we see both the Daniel getting into it ever so slightly. A little bit of contact there, but Daniel will go ahead and hold position. But then back to the Ferrari. You got one driver that's in the lead and storming off into the distance, and then another driver who is out entirely. So mixed fortunes up and down the grid, something we've actually kind of come to expect with Hungary, but I think probably the most entertaining battle that we're going to have for the rest of this race is Alpine v Williams VV card.
Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like that at the moment, doesn't it? It looks like Williams, Alpine and VCAP is the battle to look out for. Paddy Pat has just lost it, though. 1.7 seconds. Bolsonaro in the wall! Safety car! OMG! Ladies and gentlemen, we have a safety car. And I cannot believe I've just seen that. Bolsonaro's lost it. And he's into the wall, and we have a safety car. Now, what happens here? This changes the whole dynamics of this race. We're going to have driver of the day, Rikus, but first of all, can you send Ux an invite, please? I'm just going to quickly go straight up to the top, because what does Oblivion do here? He is in prime time, and Shifty Fly in P7, what do they do? Do we see softs? Do we see softs on the last 2 laps here? We've got to see it. Got to see it. Banana Plays gets a 10-second time penalty. Unfortunately, Paddy Pat is in the pits on them soft compound tyres as well. So everyone going on the softs. Oblivion not going in the pits at the moment. Rigus, who is your driver of the day? Nominations?
It's got to be Ziff.
Right,
Ziff
okay.
is going to be my first and foremost pick. I mean,
Ziff.
Rookie, starting at P11, making up to P2. Excellent stuff.
Okay, all right. There we go. This is my driver of the day. Is going to go to. Oh, who do I give it to? Oh, I don't know who to give it to. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one now. Who do I give it to? Let's look at some positions. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to give it to Ziff as well, I think. So, all right. Okay. Guys, you have 2 laps to get your names in for DOTD. Please. There we go. Guys, you got 2 laps to get your names in for driver of the day. So there we go. Let's have a look. While I'm typing that, Ziff has not pitted. Oblivion has pitted. RK Gaming has not pitted. Plugger has pitted. Dido has pitted. Whiff has pitted. Protein Group has not. Shifty Fly has. Dynasty has. Daniel T has. Paddy Pat has. Squash Josh has. YNWA Saints, I think Squash Josh hasn't. YNWA Saints has, Sebi has, Arx hasn't, and Banana Ram has. This is massive. Penalties as well on top of this. So, what are we going to see here? I mean, a few of these guys are actually on hard compound tyres. But I don't think they're all going to get round. Because the safety car is just coming in now. So, we're looking at the likes of Banana Ram, Arx, PST Sebi, Saints, Squash Josh, Paddy Pat, Daniel T, Dynasty may just make it, and they're all coming around the final corner now, and the safety car is about to come in. I don't think they're going to make it. It's just going to be very interesting. Are we going to see some drama here on the final stages of 2 laps to go, Regis?
Oh, it looks like we about had some contact there between Ziff and Oblivion as we go back to green racing. Oblivion's got the inside line. He's got the line that he needs to go in and make a move. Ziff's going to try to hang it around the inside. He just loses that position to Oblivion there. But he's got the ideal line for the next corner. Decides against making a move. But he's really only got one more shot to make a move. And that's on the next lap. So, drama is definitely here.
What a move. Sorry, Rick, back to you.
So, go ahead.
No, back to you. You're good.
I was going to say, so drama is possible here on the last lap. Oblivion just has a raw pace advantage. He's got the quicker tire. But Plugger is knocking on the door like, hey, let me in the P2. And Ziff not quite answering that door just yet. He's got to try to hold on. I mean, he's had an excellent drive here for a debut drive. But Dito was actually thinking about making a move onto Plugger. And now if Plugger goes ahead and loses a position to Dito or spends too much time fighting Dito, then Zip is going to go ahead and lock in P2. But he's pretty much just got to hold it in for turns 1 and 2 as Oblivion on those brand new medium tires just saunders off into the distance. Now Zip is under a massive pressure right now. He looks like he might have to run up into the turn, but nope. Plugger's going to go ahead and just try to send it in. And Wimpy was actually thinking about sending it around Dito. If it's like the final lap of this Grand Prix. By just too much pace for Plugger on those pressure tires. And it looks like
Ziff's got a 3 second. Ziff's got a 3 second. That's going to hurt him massively in this race at the moment. And Plugger is in P2. He's got basically the last lap. Oblivion is flying. He went for the right decision there. I think Ziff has really stuffed this up. He's gone on 21 laps. He stayed on those hard compound tyres. With Petit is right there for a podium. This is it. This is massive for the Kick Sauber. This is massive for Merck as well. Can anything change here on this last lap? Is anything going to change? We got yellows going on at the back, and it looks like Wider Saints is round, and Oblivion is coming on the last corner. He's going to win the Hungarian Grand Prix from start to finish. That was fantastic. What a race it was for Oblivion tonight. Plugger is going to take P2. Yes, he is going to take it. We've got a big accident, or someone's had a spin at the back, but look at the crossing the line with Petit takes pole position. So P3 there, and we've got a crash at the end. Someone has crashed, have they, at the finishing line? Or someone's lost it. I'm just seeing yellows. I'm seeing all sorts going on here. Paddy Pat finishes up into P11. Did you not see Oblivion hit him off at the start of the final stint? No, I didn't. I saw a little bit of a contact there, but if they want to report it, they are more than welcome to report it in. But there we go. That is the end of the race, and what a race that was. And well, the first safety car I think we've seen all week at Hungary.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to just kind of watch this race kind of unfold. We knew as soon as we saw like a safety car of any kind that this whole dynamic of the race was going to go ahead and change. But I'm seeing that there's a possibility for Ziff to go ahead and get that penalty removed. So that's a maybe. But yeah, I mean, that his race kind of came crashing down there right at the end. But Oblivion just had an excellent race here today. I mean, basically domination from lights out to the checkered flag. And I mean, despite the other Ferrari not having a good time, this Ferrari, who's on the top step of your podium now, he had the time of his life out there.
Yeah, no, he did. It's going to be a very interesting interview, and yeah, what a night, what a race, and what an end to that race as well. So we're going to get these guys in for into the comms box. So we're waiting on Is Oblivion with. And who finished P3? It'll be Plugger. And also get your messages in. Looks like we just have to make our decision on driver of the day as well. Right, so we're going to go, here we go. Oblivion taking out pole position and gets the fastest lap as well. Plugger in P2 with Matif in P3. Dido in P4, Shifty Flight in P5. That's your top 5. Going all the way down, unfortunately, losing Ryan, Marzi, Hennessy, and Boltaru, who did cause the safety car. Arcs, unfortunately, did finish right at the end as well. But yeah, who is your driver of the day? Because Ziff goes all the way down to P7. So people are saying Ziff. People are saying Ziff. We've said Ziff. It could be yeah. It could be an unanimous vote there. I should get some money. I predicted Oblivion would finish. We'll just choose from about. Will we see a safety car? Yes, we will. I'm just going to put that in. So there we go. There is your points. So Regis, what do you think? Are we going to give driver of the day to Ziff?
Honestly, I really do want to, but that penalty does kind of mar things so slightly. And I mean, I remember what happened the last time I chose a Haas over a Ferrari for driver today, but I'm going to double down. I'm still going to give it to Ziff. I mean, on track, he picked up P4 on track and then just dropped down quite a few positions. but still, starting from P11 and then just having really excellent rates up until that safety car. I mean, it was a really good drive there from the rookie, so I'm still going to give it to Ziff.
Okay, all right. Well, we will get. We'll see if Hado will jump in the TP. Hado or Saints, can you jump in the comms box? Because we don't have Ziff. He doesn't have a mic, unfortunately. So yeah, if Hado or Saints can jump in, would be great. But yeah, first of all, before we start to have a chat with the guys who finished on the podium, what was your summary of tonight's race?
I mean, it was basically another example of Ferrari domination here. Got pole position and basically led it all the way from lights out to checkered flag. Some excellent battles going up and down the field, though. We saw some really spicy overtakes. I'm still going to mention Shifty's overtake into turn number 12. That was really extraordinary stuff from the McLaren. And also, obviously, really good battling between the Alpines and then Patty Pat and Daniel and the Williams. Very good battle from them until the safety car came out. But yeah, I mean, it's basically what we've kind of come to expect from Hungary. It's just really good racing, some really gutsy overtakes, and then also everything just kind of comes to a head when there is a safety car involved.
Yep, definitely. And we do have the Haas TP in here tonight. So, Hado, obviously your driver reserving in tonight unfortunately can't make it, but has got driver of the day. So it's an extra 2 points for you. Give us a bit of an insight of what you thought of his performance tonight, reserving for you guys in the Haas. And also, you still have that free option in that seat. So, is this guy looking to be signed, sealed, and delivered? What was your thoughts on him?
Well, yeah, it was a great performance. I got home a bit late, so I tuned in and I saw he was in first or second with Shifty on lap 12, which is when Reckers is saying that overtake was his highlight. So that was good to see. Just a bit unlucky with that safety car in the last decision, but he did really well. He had the pace. He held up with everyone. So it was really good to see, and I'm really happy for that.
Yeah, no, he was very, very good. It was very interesting to see. Obviously, Q1, I think he did a 13.9 or 13.4. And we were thinking, oh, this guy, people, how people are. He's in the wrong division. He's in the wrong division, and we know that Q1 and Q2 and Q3, the track ramps up, and you get quicker and quicker and quicker. And unfortunately, got knocked out in Q2, which was a big surprise. And then obviously decided to stay on those hard compound tyres. And unfortunately, it looked like it was going to be a great night, dropping all the way down to P7. What do you feel about that strategy, staying on those hards and not coming into the pits like Oblivion did? And obviously, Oblivion made the right choice there, getting onto those mediums and made, pretty less work of the guys out in front.
It was a bit a here and there choice. I felt like he had the pace to stay. I think he could have played a bit more defensive, especially in that turn one of the restart. But it happens. The old tyres and they just suck. So that P7 it may not last. He just messaged me saying he think he can definitely get the penalty removed. So hopefully it does and it goes back to P3. But that choice, I trusted him with that. So it happens. He held up to stay in P3 till the end of the race anyway. So yeah, it was a good finish, and obviously he thought he made the right choice.
Well, he did a phenomenal job, and congratulations on those 2 points of driver of the day. Regis, have you got any questions for the TP regarding Ziff's performance of driver of the day?
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give. I don't really have any questions, but just from the little bit you've seen here today, how do you feel that Ziff is going to go if he does get picked up for a full-time racing going into next week at Las Vegas? Do you think he's going to show similar pace, or do you think it might be a track he might struggle a bit at?
Well, I think he'll do good, especially now that he's gonna be with Haas.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he is quick. Like I think we can all safely say that he surprised all of us, especially us up here in the commentary box. He was definitely unknown before coming in, but I mean, even if that penalty does not get removed, on track going from P11 all the way up to P3 is still pretty good. And he hung it around, and as he gets more experience, I think he'll improve, and that is going to be extremely awesome to see. So, congratulations and best of luck going forward to Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Okay, well, also before we go, thank you very much for the raid, Paddy Pat. Really appreciate that. We're going to jump on board to P3, and I know this guy has been absolutely putting in the work, putting in the practice, especially late last night with Matif, mate. What a performance! The penalty may have just got you the podium in the end, but a great result for Kick. Didn't go to plan for obviously Ryan tonight. Which was unfortunate. But how did your race go for you?
Yeah, it was definitely lonely at a lot of points during that race. But yeah, the safety car at the end, I didn't have a teammate or an engineer for most of it. Keithy, who's the Div 1 Kick driver, he joined the VC right as the safety car came out, and I was like stressing, like, oh, do I pit? Do I stay out? And then he told me to pit. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but at this stage, it's my first podium in Rush.
Seem a bit speechless, mate.
Yeah. I'm still shaking.
Well, honestly, my hat goes off to you, mate. I saw you last night. You were absolutely putting in the work. Yeah, and that's what it takes sometimes. Just stay out. Just work at it. Anything can happen. And we've never thought that we were going to see a safety car, on lap 32. So, yeah, things can change very, very quickly in a heartbeat. So, no, well done. And congratulations on your first ever podium in Rush. I'm sure that there's more to come. You're looking very, very good this season compared to, I'm not going to put you down, but compared to last season, looking very, very comfortable. You've got a very, very good teammate. The kicks are off to a flying start in each divisions as well. They've got some very, very strong drivers. How are you feeling now with the momentum of this podium going into a very completely different track where you are going to be able to overtake, which is good to see, and we are going to get to see some action in Vegas. But how are you feeling going into Vegas with the whole team itself?
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys, as weird as it sounds, because it's basically a straight line. Vegas is their favourite track. So yeah, I think that we'd be a team to look out for. I personally enjoy it, as long as I don't do what I did last night and crash into the Colapinto wall. But yeah, apart from that, I feel like we'll be a team to look out for.
Well, that's the way to be. Great job, fantastic. And I'll pass you over to Rikus if he's got any questions for you.
I have never heard it referred to as the Colapinto wall before. I'm going to have to add that to my notes and utilize it for when we go next week to Las Vegas. But I don't really have any questions. I do want to congratulate you, though, on your first podium here in Rush. That is a massive achievement, especially with how competitive the field is here. I mean, regardless of what division you enter. But, I mean, Div 3 was looking very strong and very spicy tonight. So congratulations to you. You earned it. You had a very good race. And, yeah, best of luck to you and the rest of Sauber in Las Vegas.
Thanks, mate.
No problem.
Okay, right, we'll go over to P2. And I think it's 2 podiums in 2 rounds. Plugger-mate, that was a very interesting race. Obviously, with Oblivion from near enough from the start to finish until obviously things changed with the pitting and then obviously the safety car. But how did you find that going into Q1, Q2, Q3, and also the race in itself?
Hey boys, yeah, spicy race, hey. Um, Look, one of my worst tracks, to be honest. So coming into Q1, I actually said to Pep, I was like, look, I'm just aiming for a top 7 or top 8 here today. So, and then Q1, I felt like I had reasonable pace. So the last 5 minutes before creating the lobby, I found a setup that worked for me, and yeah, stuck with that. So pretty happy with that. And yeah, the undercut's just too good here. I kept up with Oblivion just like with DRS, kept up with him until pitting, and then he boxed and I didn't. And then by the time I came out, he was 4 seconds up the road. So yeah, gone him.
Yeah, it was. It was a very, very good race. Obviously, you were with him from basically from start until you did pit, and we could see that there was hardly any time in between you. And obviously, Ziff got in the mix of that as well, which caused a little bit of a storm in some areas. And then obviously got that penalty, and then the safety car, and obviously it's some of those decisions that you have to make sometimes on the safety. What was the go when you saw the safety car? What was going through your head on what to do? Because you knew that Ziff was on very, very old tyres, and Oblivion was probably going to go in and go on some fresh. So what were you thinking of doing?
Yeah, just reacting really. So as soon as Oblivion went in, that was my decision done. I had to go. But I only had the hards, so I didn't have any softs left, and I took 2 sets of hards because I know that the mediums die off pretty quick here. So yeah, so it was a risky call, but then everyone behind me boxed as well. So I think I lost out to RK, and obviously Ziff was out in front as well. But yeah, from that it wasn't too bad. I made easy work of RK early, and then Ziff's tires were just gone. So, but yeah, he had some crazy pace. So I don't know where that came from in Q1. But yeah, he was catching me by a second a lap there on 1 lap of different hards. So yeah.
Well, a great start. 2 rounds in, going into Vegas next week. A fan of yours or not a fan of yours?
Yeah, I like Vegas. I like the high speedness of it, and I guess the risk of the track. One little move and bang, there goes your wing. So I do like that element. It takes a bit of skill and means that the drivers that practice and have that talent get rewarded.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. Regis, we'll pass it over to you, mate.
All right, and I mean, it makes sense to take gambles at a track that's basically literally built around like 1,000+ casinos, so that makes sense. No, team, I know Vegas is a track that you like, but how about the rest of Mercedes? What's the morale of the rest of the Mercedes team throughout all the divisions going into Las Vegas?
Yeah, no, things are good in the Merc camp. I think we're going all right in the overalls. So we'll do a little bit of practice around here. The boys have been really good at getting a session or 2 going during the week and putting in the time together. So yeah, we're pretty united, which is really good, and certainly helps. I think it certainly shows between the people that do put in some time and effort versus the people who don't. So yeah, morale's good, and I'm sure we'll be confident going in to continue our lead in the overall championship.
Awesome stuff. And as they say, as cheesy as this phrase may be, teamwork makes the dream work, and you guys are certainly showing that here this season. And yep, so I wish you guys the best of luck going into Las Vegas, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Comms.
Okay, all right. We'll go over to the last interview of the night, Oblivion. That was a very interesting night. Great victory in the end, but wasn't easy. Obviously, Q1, Q2, Q3. Obviously, you put some serious time in, and then obviously made the last ditch strategy on the safety car. So, how did that go for you tonight?
Pretty well. I was very surprised by Ziff's pace. At 13.90 set in Q1, I was like, wow, that was pretty quick. Wasn't expecting to see that. But I do consider this one of my stronger tracks that we go to. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's gone. But I did expect it to be fighting at the front. But yeah, it was overall a good race.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a little bit of argy-bargy there, though, on that safety car restart with Ziff. What was that about? It was just, were you trying to get a good traction coming out the corner, or what was the go there?
I didn't touch him. I didn't get a collision warning on my screen. But by the looks of it, he sped up and slowed down the tiniest bit, or he tried to put the foot down a little bit and lost the rear. But yeah, I didn't touch him, and it caught me off guard because I was right behind him. So luckily, he lost a little bit of traction, and I got alongside him pretty early on the straight. But yeah, no contact was made.
Well, that's good. That's good to clear that up. Obviously, it wouldn't be going into the stewards, obviously, with a report on that. But no, it looked like it was going to be a really good night for Ferrari. Both of you, obviously, you and Hennessy. Qualifying looked really good. You both looked very, very strong. But then, unfortunately, he got the drive through, and it just went from bad to worse. So yeah, and then obviously you came out on top, and then decided when you saw the safety car, what was going through your head? I asked the same question to Plugger as well, because you knew that Ziff was on those 20-lap hards, and you knew that there was only 2 laps to go, and we knew that the rest of the pack from the back probably weren't going to catch up, and it was going to be probably between you and another probably 6 or 7 cars that would be going through on this when the safety car was going to go in, and the rest probably wouldn't catch up until the end of the race. So what was the strategy as soon as you saw that safety car?
Firstly, as you mentioned Hennessy, I'd like to say that he drove very well. He got very unlucky with that incident, and he deserved points in this race. So I'd like to say that. Yeah, as soon as that safety car come out, I've had Dante in my ear, engineering, giving me the information on all the tyres, and I told him that I had fresh mediums, and he said, yeah, it's the best to go for. And I'm not too sure why the Haas didn't follow me in, or whether he had fresh tyres or not. But yeah, it was the right decision in the end to pit for fresh mediums.
Okay, all right. And I'm going to go over something a little bit of a different topic. Obviously, your TP friends, how's things been in the garage? Obviously, there's been a lot of switching around changes and stuff. We're now going into, obviously, Jeddah for, obviously, Division 1 in Las Vegas. How's everything feeling in Ferrari? Because, obviously, it looks like you've got a new driver coming in that's reserving the weekend in Jeddah and Garris. So, in all, how is the Ferrari team feeling going into next week?
Yeah, I mean, this week has been a bit challenging for Ferrari with the exit of 2 Div 1 drivers. Hasn't been great, but that's their decision. I'm sure Franz has made, some good contacts, and he's brought in the right people to get the good points for the team and help us in the overall. So, yeah, I whatever he decides, I back it. So, yeah, I'm just trying to drive the best I can and help Ferrari get points.
Well, I'll give you some news. We've just brought in the Tier 4 champion of WOR, Daniel Langrek, who is driving for TTM. So keep an eye out on him. When he's obviously not sick, he may be available to drive. So get friends to look out for him. But I'm sure a few other TPs will be on the lookout. But no, honestly, a great job, Oblivion. You really look like could be the one to watch, and look like could be a championship contender. So we look forward to seeing what you can do in Vegas. And I'll pass you over to Regis.
Thank you.
All right, so Oblivion, once again, amazing race from you. You pretty much led the race from the lights out to checkered flag. Excellent stuff for Ferrari. It's a result that they've been needing. I know this week in general has been kind of up and down. And actually, honestly, this whole season has been kind of up and down for you guys over at the Tifosi. But what are your thoughts going into Las Vegas? Is it a track that you think that Ferrari is going to have a shot to go ahead and try to start clawing back into the overall championship? Or do you think it's going to be a track you guys are going to struggle on?
Tough question. Personally, I haven't done much practice around there. I haven't done a race there, so I'm not sure how I'm going to go.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, you got
But the rest of the team, I back them. I think we've got some good drivers in each division that can get some good points. So I believe that we'll be fighting back.
awesome. Can't wait to see it. Once again, congratulations on a very well-earned victory here in Hungary, and best of luck to you and the rest of the Scuderia in Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That is the last race of the week. And obviously, there goes to your winner, Oblivion, who takes P1. Obviously, P2 goes to Plugger, and then P3 goes to Whipmateeth. And also, the driver of the day goes to Ziff, who unfortunately couldn't be with us. But that is it. What a great week of racing. Hungary, one of those tracks which is extremely difficult to race. Some people find it a bit frustrating. Some people love it. It is one of those technical tracks, but they will be going over to an even more faster track, which is all about the DRS in that Sector 3 zone, especially with Jeddah. But it's all about turn 1 as well. If you do not get turn 1 right, then your lap can be over very, very quickly. So that will be the one to watch out for the Division 1 guys on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. AEDT. So tune in for that. And then obviously Division 4 kicking off on the Sunday, and they will be at Vegas, where we will see the longest straight that you've ever seen in Formula One, and it is Vegas down that main strip, where we will see a lot of toes, a lot of overtakes, but also a lot of different times, I'll see, because obviously we got full quality as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the track is going to ramp up at Vegas as well, because it is very slippery. And the weather conditions as well. What's the weather going to be? We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a very interesting week next week. But that's it, Rigas. A great night and some clean racing all weekend at Hungary compared to Monza with the incidents.
Indeed. I mean, Monza has just been, for pretty much almost every race in Monza, I mean, Div 6 is definitely one to kind of mention in this discussion, but Monza usually breeds chaos, and Hungary can breed chaos, but we didn't see really a whole lot of that this week. I mean, the only two incidents I can really think of off the top of my head is that incident with the Alpine just losing it there, calling it up the safety car there on the last few laps in this race, and then obviously the red flag, although I believe that was more server-based than actual driving incident. But yeah, very clean, very good stuff there from all the drivers here in Hungary, and yeah, can't wait to see how many drivers are going to gamble here at Las Vegas next week. And also, Saudi is going to be a really fun one too. Saudi is a very tough track. I mean, like, if you take Saudi and Vegas, they honestly could not be almost any more different. I mean, the only thing that they have in common is that they're both high-speed tracks, but completely different weather conditions. Saudi's got a lot more, like, aggressive corners. So, yeah, I think we're going to have an absolute banger going into round 3 of the season across all divisions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's been a very interesting start to the season. We're only at round 2, ladies and gentlemen. We've got round 3 coming up very, very shortly, and we've had some fantastic racing. And Division 6, obviously the peak of the week, 73 viewers. Fantastic. Love the support for Division 6. And it's been a great, like Riga said, it's been a very, very interesting week. I think we've only seen one safety car this week, and that was obviously tonight as well, around a track which is extremely difficult to overtake. Hardly any incidents as well, which is really good to see as well. So the guys are learning. The stewards are obviously on top of it. Yeah, it's been a great week of racing. Big up to all of our sponsors as well. Pagnian, SimLab, Speed Nation, and our main sponsor, AI369. Feel free to jump on board. The comments in the comments and the links and everything going on as it's coming up should be right about now. And feel free, if you want to get on board the Discord and you want to give it a go with these guys across all 6 divisions, Division 1 all the way through to Division 6, then sign up and get yourself on track. And remember, we'll be back tomorrow with more action with the reserve program, which will be back here at Hungary. So we'll have to wait and see how those guys will do. And remember, if you are a reserve driver and you haven't driven at any of these races this week, tomorrow is your chance to have an opportunity to show what the TPs, what you've got and what you're capable of. And if there is an opportunity that comes up, and is needed, then jump on and get involved. Still looking for drivers all over the place. Division 1 all the way through to Division 6. Always opportunities, as you can see. There's a free seat in Haas, looking likely to be a free seat in the Alpine as well. So always opportunities. But once again, Regas, thank you very much for jumping on board in the comments box with me tonight.
And thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's always awesome coming here to Rush and just seeing the absolute high caliber racing, regardless of what division we're in. We could be in the top division of Division 1 or our newest division of Division 6. And I know there's always just going to be excellent action regardless. So it's always a blast coming over here.
Appreciate it, mate. Love the support. And feel free to jump on board all of our socials. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, I think I said Facebook, and Twitch. And our biggest one is our Discord. Until then, we will see you very, very soon. But I'll leave you a quote, as I always do, before we go. Another different winner this week. It's Oblivion. Who's it going to be next week? Down the strip. Take care. Good night.